Hi, so what I want to talk about in particular is why do we care about science education, because that's my background. And we put our kids through compulsory science all the way up to year 10, so that's many, many years of science. There must be some good reasons why. There's lots of everyday scientific issues that students and later citizens need to be able to understand so that they can make the right decisions in life. There's one of the really good examples that comes to mind is a couple of years ago. There was a really big media scare. There was one paper that was published showing a possible link for vaccinations between autism and the MMR vaccination. And there was big media attention worldwide. And lots of people now, at my school where I teach, we actually have hundreds of parents who refuse to vaccinate their children because they're worried about autism and other diseases that you can get from these vaccinations. However, within about a month, we had a number of papers published showing that actually there was no link between autism and vaccinations. There was nothing wrong with the vaccinations. However, again, it didn't get shown in the media, and so people have the wrong information. It's these kinds of things that are really important that we're teaching our students so that they understand and can make the right decisions, or at least informed decisions. Similarly, we have things like superbugs, which are our antibiotic-resistant bacteria. You might go into hospital with a broken arm or a broken leg and pick one of these up, just like you'd pick up a cold or a flu, and you can die from that. We, in some cases, don't have any antibiotics, anything that we can give you. If your body can't fight it off, you will die. And that's pretty scary. So it's really important, again, that we teach our students about how to use antibiotics appropriately, how to take the full dose, that you must always do that. You must not take it when you have a cold or a flu, things like that. Another one that comes up really commonly is there's a lot of pseudoscience around. It comes up in the media particularly. So sorry, I'm picking on the media a bit today, but that's where a lot of students get ideas from. Detox diets are really common. Sports drinks, which are all isotonic and use all big scientific words which actually have nothing to do with what they do. And scientifically tested is one of my favourites. Scientifically tested is a total marketing term. It has nothing to do with actually if it's been shown to work. Scientifically and scientifically proven means it's been tested in a laboratory, but it's not necessarily proven to work or proven not to work. It can be scientifically proven not to work. They just don't tell you that last little bit. It just means it's been tested in a lab, but you don't know what the results were. Okay? So lots of students, and I'm sure other people, get the wrong idea from all these marketing terms. Thanks. So we want to get kids into science, but unfortunately there's a lot of disincentives. This is the reasons why people don't go into science. And I think the only reason I went in was I just loved it. I loved the information. I loved finding out new things. But if you have a look, as some of our previous speakers were saying, we haven't got a lot of students going into science, not as many as there used to be. If you have a look, this graph down the bottom shows fourth year physics students enrolment, and early on in the 60s and onwards you can see we had a lovely trend going up. Lots of people wanted to take science, and then around the 90s we had a sudden drop, and this was across the whole of Australia in all science subjects, not just physics, and it was pretty startling. And we've come back up a little bit from there, but we're still way below the numbers that we used to be before. And that's really sad, because as you can see, there's so many issues that students need to know about. Unfortunately, I think part of it is because students these days don't realise how much science they're using. They get out their iPods and their laptops, and they even just turn on the electricity, and don't think about how that actually is based on science. Another thing is that it's not really valued by society. Think about how many times you see celebrities in the media. How many science celebrities are there compared to, say, sports celebrities or movie celebrities and those sorts of things? Even just look at how they're portrayed. That's David Beckham up there on the left and Karl Krasniqi on the right. And if you had a choice, who would you want to be as a role model? Another thing, of course, is our lack of science-trained teachers. We have quite a few teachers around, sadly, who have to teach science even though they've got no science background. And then, of course, it's no wonder that kids say, oh, I find science so difficult, I don't understand. Well, usually it's because the teacher doesn't understand as well. So you just got to spiral downwards. Thanks. So what we're doing at my school, at IGS, International Grammar School, is we've decided we're not taking a traditional approach. We're not teaching biology and then we're teaching physics and then we're teaching chemistry. we're mixing it all up, and we're actually taking real-life contexts and looking at all the biology and chemistry and physics that comes with one of those contexts. So, for example, these are some of the light artworks that our students have done when we were looking at light and music and art. And another one, what people do to the planet, we looked at climate change. So you might remember back from when you were at school learning about equations. You had to learn all the symbols and all that kind of thing. And the kids go, when am I ever going to use that? Why is that useful? Why do I need to know this stuff? And so we did a topic about climate change, and then of course you're talking about burning of fossil fuels, which is combustion. And then you can teach them the combustion reactions, and then they go, oh, so that's why I have to actually know this stuff. So it makes them actually care about science and care about what they have to learn. And they can see the point, the relevance about what they're doing. So why do we care about science education, or why should we care, I believe? I think because if you want our citizens to be able to go out there and make informed choices, be able to vote for the politicians which are promoting particular scientific points of view, make the right choices about whether climate change is really occurring or not really occurring, all these really important decisions, then they've got to understand science, and they've got to really enjoy science and see how it's important. And with that comes also logical thinking, analytical thinking, problem solving, all those skills that you learn along the way, and you can use in any subject, whether it be science or something else. So that's why I really care about science education.